Hey everybody, I don't know if you can really see me that well, hopefully you can. But I thought I'd kind of give my thoughts on something that I just watched AlphaOmegaSin talk about. I didn't even know about this. But I'm going to start off by, first of all, asking you guys a question. Do you think it's sensible and a wise business decision for video game companies and distributors to add what is known as microtransactions to their games? I mean, I can understand maybe every now and then with certain games that you'll want to do that, but do you think it's necessary in a wise business decision to do it all the time? Let me explain. Basically, the link will be provided below, and a link to Alpha's video as well. But apparently, EA, Electronic Arts, who has been known for doing some good games at times and also some bad ones, apparently has decided that with the success, I guess, of this microtransaction deal with Dead Space 3, that they're going to decide to incorporate the microtransaction deal into all of their EA products, into all of the EA games. In other words, they're planning to basically make people pay for certain things, for certain content in the game. And we're not talking DLC content, we're talking content that's already established as a part of the game, that's not needed to be downloaded, it's not needed as DLC. But basically you're going to have to pay for it to use it. So let's say, for example, you're playing the latest Battlefield. You're doing good and everything, you're getting to that next level, but all of a sudden the only way you can get to that level is at a certain rank, right? Well, you're at that, well, here's the thing, you pass the level to get you that next level, but the only way you can get to that next level is to purchase the rank that's already established on the game, not as a DLC. And also, possibly the only way you can get to achieve that level and use it is to purchase it, even though it's not DLC. Yeah. So let's say you want to get to that next level, and that next level costs you $1.50. You're gonna have to pay $1.50 out of your card. Or let's say you want to use a certain rank, and that rank costs you maybe $1, maybe $2 or $2.50. I know that sounds a little bit more than playing on a level, but you get the idea. Doesn't make sense, right? Well, let's say if the latest Madden comes out this year, Madden 14. What's going to happen when you want to play the seasonal mode? You want to play seasonal mode. Or you want to do a tournament, whatever modes they have besides exhibition. Like this one, this year's Madden, this current Madden one, allows you to do the Super Bowl right off the bat in exhibition. You don't have to worry about it. What happens though if you can't do that in exhibition? What happens if you have to purchase it? You have to end up paying for that content with an additional, let's say, $2 or $1. Now some people might say $1 is not too much, but you kind of get what I'm saying. But let's say it's $2. You have to throw it out. You have to throw out from your card, from your credit card or your debit card, just to get that content, even though it's not DLC. Let's say they decide to bring back Create a Team for this, for Madden. Let's say they decide to bring that back. What happens if you want to access that mode to create your team, your own created team, your own CAT, and all of a sudden you can't do that because it says something like, oh, by the way, you got to purchase this for about $2, $3, even though it's not DLC. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to me, folks. And I'm sure as hell, no, it doesn't make sense to anybody else. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, EA, back in the late 90s, very late 90s, early 2000s, were partnered with WCW to produce WCW video games. And one of the best games they produced, in my opinion, was Mayhem. Quite honestly. But, think about it this way. If they would have produced Mayhem now, let's say they make a deal with Ring of Honor. and let's say Ring of Honor gets a game similar to Mayhem. What's going to happen if, let's say, people purchase that game and they want to create their wrestler, their superstar, or their women's wrestler? What happens if they get the word, oh, when they go to that mode, it says, oh, by the way, you can't use this until you pay an additional $2 for it or $3 for it? What then? What happens if you have a tournament mode on there and you want to use it, but you can't use it because it says you got to chalk out an additional $4? Well, let's say you want to use all the modes, and it says to unlock all modes, you got to pay $25 or $20 just to get all the modes unlocked, just so you can use all the modes without worrying about purchasing again. Get what I'm saying? Kind of like with WWE 13, right? You have to have a code to unlock everything, and when you buy the game, you get the code on the back of your manual, so you're able to unlock everything. And also, for $5, we'll unlock. Well, what I'm saying is that with that code on the back of your WWE 13 game and other games previously, you can unlock everything that's in game. And for the free DLC, to get that without having to purchase, you have to pay a certain amount. Now, I can understand the DLC deal, because that's downloadable content. But in-game, they give you a code. You may not like some of the things they've done with the game and all that, but they give you a code to where you put that code in, you unlock everything. So, what makes more sense? Having a code that lets you unlock everything for free, or having to pay $20-something to unlock everything, and it's already on the game, already on the disc? It doesn't make sense. I mean, I understand EA wants to make as much money as they can in these economic times. I get that. They want to make more money so they can make better games, so they probably don't have to rely on this, right? Well, you know what? Still, it doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It's stupid to do this for all the games. I can understand games like Dead Space 9, maybe Battlefield and all that. Maybe those kind of games I can understand it for. Certain games I can understand, but not all the games. It's like let's say EA Sports decided, or Electronic Arts decided to buy out the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise from Sega. Still be Sonic and everything. They have the team. They have the same Sonic team and all that, whatever. They decided to buy out Sonic. And let's say, you're playing the latest Sonic game, and it's the first Sonic game ever done by you. And all of a sudden, you're getting to this level, and the next thing you know, you're thinking, oh, right, I'm right at Robotnik. I'm about to beat Robotnik, beat the game. All of a sudden, you get the message, oh, by the way, you can't play this level until you pay $2. Or let's say you have certain modes on there, like a multiplayer mode, that's locally and online. Oh, you can't play those modes until you pay a certain amount. Doesn't make sense, right? It goes back, and going back to my Ring of Honor WCW example, if they would have done this back in '99 when they did WCW Mayhem, nobody would have paid for that game. They would have said, no, we're not going to buy this game if we have to swat out an additional $7-8 just to play a certain mode. Well, not $7-8, but a certain $3 to $4, or $1 to $2 or $3 just to play a certain mode. No, we're not going to do that. I mean, again, like I said, we can understand if it's DLC. That's fine. You're paying for the DLC. But for the content that's already on there, that's already part of the game, that's not DLC, that's not right, folks. And again, it's like I said, let's say they make a deal with Ring of Honor someday, and they decide, okay, you're gonna play this. Oh, you want to do a tournament mode? Sorry, you're gonna pay about $2, $4 for that mode, or you gotta shell out $25 or $20 just to get all the modes unlocked that are on the game. And and this is what really gets me. They made a deal to do some mixed martial arts games. I think they have a deal with UFC. So you're telling me, people that want to play certain modes in one of the upcoming UFC games, if they're the ones that got it, are you telling me people are going to have to pay a certain amount, like $2, $3, maybe $1 or so, or $1.50 or so, just to play a certain mode, or maybe pay $20, $25 to unlock all the modes? Are you telling me you're not going to make some kind of deal to where it's like if they buy the game, they can get the code on the back of a manual, on the back of the game, and allow them to unlock it like that? Are you telling me they're not going to be able to do that? You're not going to do that? You're telling me that you're going to make them pay for it? You know, again, I can understand a certain amount of games. I can understand DLC where you have to pay a certain amount. But this just isn't right, folks. It's not. And I think what EA is going to find out is they're going to lose business on this. People are going to stick to the predecessors instead of the newer games or in the sequels like Madden 14, the next Battlefield, next Dead Space, whatever. They're going to stick to the ones that came before it because they'd rather play those games without paying for stuff than having to pay for stuff they don't need to pay for because they've already purchased the game. Get what I'm saying? So let me know what you guys think about this. I will provide the links to both Alpha's video and the article he got this from. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later.